This is not a monetary issue, it's a morality issue. So I hope that what I have to present before the council today, and I'm honored to be here, but I'm also very disheartened to be here. I'm honored to be here on behalf of my constituents. I had to cancel a gig tonight to be here. But I'm disheartened by the fact that what's very obvious, I'm a street performer. I play on street corners around the country. It's very apparent and obvious to me some of the issues that plague our street corners and our streets in cities around the country. So to deliberate or take time to deliberate on an issue such as something that's actually like very unprecedented. So I've paid annual permit fees in Santa Monica. It was $35 when I was playing there. It's $37 now. I've paid annual permit fees in Old Town Sacramento, which were $127. I had no problem paying that. It may be a little more today. But to deliberate on issues that are, much more like, or much lesser of issues that are obvious and apparent to us. I had a conversation 3 weeks ago before I left town, doing some studio work, with a gentleman by the name of Ryan. He owns the Turnaround Market. And he was talking about the Dare car that sits there in the police parking lot, and it's dilapidated. The wheels are flat. But I'm a guy that walks between like the promenade and the carousel, and I see these young kids on Columbia and Broadway. They're strung out on methamphetamines. They're strung out on heroin. I've made it my business since I've been here to get to know these young people. I would think that, and even if it was a matter of, I would say this, like $50 a day for me, I could make that, honestly, just to be truthful with you. However, if that was imposed on what I do here, I would want to see that $50 that I was paying per day go towards doing something more creative to create an avenue for our young people to do something, some more options, as opposed to the peer pressure of being on drugs. I would think that this deliberation or this conversation would be more on like, okay, let's consider more about the morality as being a city council. I would think that our communication.
Can you wrap it up a little bit?
Sure. Please. I'll say this. $50 is unprecedented across the country. If you guys would have even done your research and found out what would have been a practical figure to come up with, you would understand that it's only $100 to get a business license in Oregon, but for $50 a day, that's absolutely ludicrous to me. So in wrapping it up, I would just like to say that, I'll wrap it up in saying this. Someone gave me a receipt yesterday in my tip bucket. And so I was like, why is there a receipt in my tip bucket? But then I turned it around and it said, visiting from Texas, and you made my son's day. You are incredible. Thank you, Stevie and Amber. Stevie was her son. I would say this to wrap it up, is that the branding of Seaside, how you guys want tourists to come here, and the memories that you want them to take back after visiting and spending their money in Seaside to come out here. We're not doing anything subversive or contrary to what is trying to enhance anyone's experience here in Seaside. I hope that you all would take like everyone's word like in consideration,
We take all words.
Pardon me?
We take all words seriously.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. This decision of the council, before I sit down, my success or failure